Hi there, this is Michelle Michael of www.spreadsheetyogi.com. I'm here today to talk about how to work with web links in Excel. Web links are also called hyperlinks, and they can be links to websites or they can be links to email addresses. So more than likely you're here because you want to learn how to remove them, because Excel usually automatically adds them in whether you want them or not. For example, if I were to type the address to Google and press enter, it's going to automatically turn it blue with the underline so that it's a link when you mouse over it and you get the hand, and when you click it, it opens the website. So sometimes you want that, sometimes you don't. Same thing for email addresses. So if my address was example@google.com, or let's just call it my address at google.com. Okay. Again, it's going to automatically turn it into a hyperlink that is clickable. So if you don't want that to be clickable, here's how you remove the link, but keep the text. So first thing you do is highlight the cell, and that's the trickiest part. Because if you click on the actual text, it's a link and it's going to open it. So that's not going to highlight the cell. To highlight the cell, you need to be very mindful of where you put your mouse. So move your mouse so that it's in a white space. It turns into that thick plus, and then you can highlight the cell. And once you've highlighted the cell, now I could have gone out here. This is a lot easier to click, but I just wanted to illustrate that you have to be careful not to click the link. All right, so highlight, right click, and go to remove hyperlink. It's pretty simple. Again, the hardest part is just making sure you don't actually click the link. So highlight, right click, and remove link. So that takes away the clickability, also the blue text and the underlining that indicates that it's clickable. So that's how you can remove individual links. If you wanted to, if you change your mind and you're like, well, actually, I really do want a link on this www.google.com, it's pretty easy to add it back. You would highlight the cell, right click, and go to hyperlink. This is going to open up a dialog, and there's two main things to pay attention to: the text to display, which is what's already there, and the address. For the address, we actually want the same thing as the text in this case. Oops. So you just paste the address in the address bar and click OK. So that's that address is where it goes. Okay, and same for the email one. Right click, go to hyperlink. There's no address, so it's not linked right now. So let's put the address in there and click OK. Cool. So that's how you add and how you remove links on individual cells. Now, let's say you wanted to, we'll just get a little more fancy here. Let's say you wanted, instead of displaying, you have this really long URL, for example, you might instead want to say just click here instead of displaying this gigantic long URL. In that case, when you go to, you can go to the edit dialog that we were just in. You leave the address as it is and change the text. So the text doesn't have to be the URL. It can be something like click here. And click OK. And that changes the text. So when you click it, it's going to open the URL. But what's displayed is the text that we told it. So that's some cool tricks. Last thing I want to show you is if you're typing a bunch of URLs or email addresses and you don't want them to be underlined and you don't have to go back and undo every one of them one by one, here's how you can prevent Excel from automatically linking your website addresses and email addresses. You're going to go to the Office button and look for Excel options in the bottom. And ultimately what we're looking for here is something called autocorrect, because it's automatically putting these links in for us. So we want to turn off that automatic feature. So we're going to go to Proofing and Autocorrect Options. Now if you're in Excel 2003, the autocorrect options is going to be on your Tools menu, so you can look for it there. All right, so once you get to autocorrect options, you want to look for auto format as you type and uncheck the checkbox for internet, network paths, and hyperlinks. Click OK, OK, and we should be good here. So now if I type my address at google.com, it should not hyperlink it whenever I press enter. It shouldn't turn it into a link, and it didn't. So as long as that checkbox is unchecked, I can keep working and nothing is going to turn into a link, even websites. And if I save my file and I close out and I open up a new file, the same thing. It's still not going to hyperlink any of my websites or email addresses. So that's a kind of a global Excel feature, and once you turn it off, you just have to remember to turn it back on when you want it. So cool. So that should get you going on web links in Excel. Thank you for joining me for this quick tutorial. If you'd like more tips, please visit my website at www.spreadsheetyogi.com.